Welcome back, friends. I'm Yvonne Davis, author, astrologer, and life transformation coach. And this is my channel where I do astrology and forecasts. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, click like on this video, share with friends and family, and on social media. And also, if you are interested in becoming a patron, I am starting a new series of videos on my Patreon account that will focus on consciousness raising and warrior training to get us ready, because I talked about something I called the 9-month gestation project, because we want to get ourselves in the highest level of consciousness that we possibly can to get ready for what may be arriving in 9 months, which is the inauguration, which I'm going to show you on the charts, okay? All right, so again, if you are interested in becoming a patron, click on the link below. And if you would like a reading, you can also find the link below. So let's go ahead and talk about what's happening here. I'm calling this video the Uranus Effect because it has something to do with Uranus. So I'm going to show you the chart, but then I'm also going to give you examples of what I'm talking about. All right, so I did a chart on the new moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus. So that's actually today as I'm making this video. And also today is Earth Day. So if you want to see that video, I will try to remember to include the link above, or you can find it. It's very easy to find on my on the front page of my YouTube channel. The new moon in Taurus, that's today, okay? And also, I really want to emphasize that today is Earth Day, and to me, this feels really important. All right, so, but most important with that was the fact that the full moon is conjunct Uranus, and this is so important. I cannot emphasize this enough, okay? Uranus is playing a profound role in changing our lives, and it does it in a specific way. And so I've been trying to talk about that in the new moon, the Taurus new moon video, where I say it's conjunct Uranus. It's also squaring the nodes in the U.S. Declaration chart, Declaration of Independence. And you can see here, I went forward to April 26th because I did the new moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus video. That's the 22nd, that's today. And then I did Pluto retrograde, which is April 25th. And now I'm doing the Uranus Sun conjunction on April 26th, okay? So we're moving into the weekend, and that is when the Sun, well, again, Pluto goes retrograde on the 25th, and then the Sun conjoins Uranus exactly on the 26th. So that's this weekend, and it's conjunct at 6 degrees of Taurus, 36 minutes, and it's making literally an exact square to the nodes in the Declaration of Independence chart, okay, at 6 degrees. Here the South Node is at 6 degrees, Aquarius, 36 minutes, in which we also see Saturn, okay? Saturn is playing an important role because Saturn is authority, structure and authority. And over here we see the North Node at 6 degrees Leo, 36 minutes. So it's literally making an exact square, a T-square to the nodes in the Declaration of Independence chart. So we will also look at the chart for the elections this year and for the inauguration day, because what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to help people to understand why the Uranus effect is playing such an important role in our lives in the coming year, especially here in the United States, because of the fact that it makes this square to the nodes in the Declaration of Independence chart. And so I need to give you some clues. And, you know, the thing about it is I've been really struggling with this material because on one hand, I feel like it's so important to understand what's coming, but I also, from my perspective, it has been the most triggering information that I have put on my channel since I first started my channel. I don't think I have ever seen people more triggered by the information I've been putting on my channel. than ever before. And so that's challenging for me because, I mean, a lot of you have been, you know, watching my channel know what I've been struggling with, my own personal transformation, and also trying to give this information to people, but finding it to be so triggering for people watching my channel. But I don't know what else to do. You know, I either I tell you the truth or I just give up completely. It's a hard road to walk. Okay, it's a razor's edge. So let me show you what this is all about. Okay, so this has been in effect for quite a while, and I did talk about it recently. And then some things happened in the news. So I want to show you what was happening because I think that will give you a clue about the Uranus, so that I'm not just, you know, making this stuff up. You know, like people say, hey, you know, that's your interpretation, or they think that I'm under the influence of someone else, like someone's paying me off to say this stuff. It's crazy. I'm just reporting the facts. Okay, so this was in the Guardian. I can put this link in below. I can pin it into the comments if you want to see this video. This channel is The Guardian, and the title of this video is Armed Protesters Demand an End to Michigan's Coronavirus Lockdown Orders. And I actually saw this on other channels too, like PBS with Judy Woodward, you know. So these are, you know, these, I mean, you could call it mainstream media, but this is a very highly respected news outlet, The Guardian News. And this was posted on April 16th. So that was, you know, basically last weekend. And, or maybe it was during the week. I don't know exactly when this event took place, but it was obviously either on the 16th or very close to that, the 16th, just prior to the 16th, somewhere around that time frame. And so, but anyway, that was basically a week ago. And so these people were protesting, and these were armed protesters. I mean, you can see them here. If you go and watch this video, you can see several people who are holding rifles and semi-automatic weapons, like this guy right here, this guy right here, these two. You can see their the barrel of their rifles right there. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. Literally, I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. This is the Uranus effect, okay? So I'm not just making this stuff up. This isn't just my interpretation, you know, or somebody else has convinced me to say this. I'm telling you the truth. These are facts. These people showed up, armed protesters. This is Uranus, okay? So this is why it's so important for you to understand why I am doing this consciousness raising work for people, because I can't just do it on my channel because there are too many different levels of consciousness, too many different people with different opinions. It's not, I don't feel like I can, it's too hard to target and the level of consciousness that I need to speak to, and people get too triggered. It doesn't feel like a safe environment. That's why I'm taking it over to Patreon, where, you know, people who are really serious about doing consciousness work can work with me in getting the videos, and also on Zoom. So if you want to do that, you're welcome to. So anyway, that was one of the videos. And then another one that came up was there was a mass shooter who apparently disguised himself as a police officer or something like that, and went out and started shooting people. And at this point, there's 19 deaths, including the shooter himself. So, so again, this was recently in Nova Scotia, and this was posted on April 20th. So these were very recent events. And again, these are examples of the Uranus effect. So the reason why it causes violence is because some people are really challenged when it comes to being able to ground the energy of Uranus. it does something. It can be so agitating that some people, if they have some, if they're unstable, it can really trigger them. Okay, so obviously this mass shooter was really unstable, and they got triggered in some way. But I've seen this so many times, you know, whether it's conjunctions, squares, oppositions. Whenever Uranus is involved, it can trigger violence, and that's my concern. That's why I'm trying to bring this information to people. And you know, I apologize for the fact that it's so triggering to some people, but I just don't know what to do, because either you get this information or you don't, you know. And I think that if people are aware of this, then they can begin to prepare. The only way I know of to prepare is to work on one's own consciousness, so that you can handle the energy that's flowing through without losing control like some people do. Now, you may think that you're not losing control, but if people are triggered by this information, that means that there's something within them that needs to be looked at. It's the anger is usually brought up through a feeling of powerlessness. And that's why people get so triggered, because they feel powerless to do anything about it. And I'm saying there are things we can do about it. We can raise our consciousness, and that does make a difference. It makes a phenomenal difference. In fact, it's the only thing I know of that makes a difference. So let me go ahead and take you back to the charts. And now that you know, now that you've seen an example of what this Uranus effect is, and again, it gets triggered whenever it is in a conjunction, an opposition, like a full moon, or a square, as we are seeing here with Saturn. Uranus is rebelling. It is the planet of rebellion and revolution, and it is squaring Saturn, which is the planet of authority. But we are seeing it particularly in effect here in the United States, because especially on the 26th, it's going to make an exact square to the nodes of the United States Declaration of Independence. People who are showing up to protest, those are the Uranus people. Okay. Now, myself personally, I'm totally fine with sheltering in place. I don't have any problem with it. I'm happy to do it. I think it's a good idea. And, you know, it's not my place to tell other people what they should or should not do. You know, it's my place to decide what I should or should not do. It's not my place to tell anyone else what they should or should not do. And a lot of people have a lot of really strong opinions about this both ways. You know, that's why people get so triggered with this Uranus effect, because some people think you should do it this way, and other people think, no, we should do it a different way. And it's clear that Donald Trump is, he's creating some agitation around this. He's pretending like he's innocent, but it's pretty obvious he is intentionally stirring up this hornet's nest. So I suspect that with the new moon today, the 22nd, because full moons, no, this is a new moon, yeah, new moon. It's going to bring something new, but it's going to have to do with Uranus, because it is conjunct Uranus. And then the moon will move into conjunction with Uranus shortly after the the new moon, and then and the square to Saturn. And then the sun will conjoin Uranus on the 26th. And the fact that Pluto has gone retrograde is also a very, very powerful effect on this. They're all working together, okay, to stimulate something. A hornet's nest is kind of a good way to think about it. It's stirring up a hornet's nest. That's the Uranus effect. So watch what happens. Now you've got some clues, because I showed you what Uranus does when it's in the conjunction and in the square. The opposition does the same thing, okay? I already showed you examples of that. This is not my opinion. This is not my interpretation. These are facts. These things happened, and these alignments, it happened during these alignments of the conjunctions and the squares, okay? So we're talking about conjunctions to Uranus, and we're talking about squares to Saturn, okay? And squares to the nodes. So it gets even more intense this weekend, okay? Because we've had the new moons. That means the moon and the sun conjunct Uranus. We have the square to Saturn, so all three are squaring Saturn, and we have the square to the nodes, and then we have Pluto retrograde, and then we have the sun making an exact conjunction to Uranus, and both of them making exact squares to the nodes and a square to Saturn. Okay, so something's going to happen this weekend, and now you have clues about what that looks like, and that's not just my opinion. All right, so let me take you forward, because it's not just this weekend that we have a problem with. It's the elections and it's Inauguration Day. So I am trying to clue people in, and I'm trying to do it in a way that is fact-based, okay? This is not my opinion. This is fact. This is what Uranus does, and you have seen an example of it. All right, so let's look at the election. Oh, so what happens just before the election is this Scorpio Taurus full moon, and the full moon is conjunct Uranus at the time, and it's, as you can see, it's virtually exact. This is going to stimulate some kind of disruption of the elections. And now, as far as what that's going to look like, that I don't want to speculate on, okay? I'm just telling you that Uranus brings disruption. It brings unpredictability. It agitates people. It can bring violence. I've already showed you examples of that. It is still in a square to the nodes, and it's just a few days prior to the elections. Therefore, this full moon will affect the elections, okay? So, you know, obviously I expect everyone to go out and vote. And I did hear some responses to my last video about this, and because a lot of people got so triggered by that. So I'm really trying to be careful about what I say, because it's not my intention to go around triggering people. It's my intention to show people examples of what happens when this energy is awakened, okay? So you can make up your own minds about what you think is coming. You know, some people say more people will show up for the elections than ever before. That might be true. It is the planet of unpredictability, so we'll see. Some people say what will happen is that we won't know who the president is, like a Bush-Gore scenario, or like a Clinton-Trump scenario. So I'm going to be very careful and not make any predictions. I'm simply going to show you the examples of what this kind of energy brings, and you can make up your own mind about what you think is coming. But my fear is not just disruption, but my fear is potential violence. That is my biggest concern, and that is why I think that the more people who can work on raising their consciousness to deal with this kind of energy, and to deal with the people out there who are going to be going nutso because of this energy, then we can bring some grounding to this energy for ourselves and possibly for other people. And then the final example that I want to give you for this is Inauguration Day, which is more intense than any I've seen in my lifetime. And I did do a video on it when I talked about the American Civil War, which you can go back and look at for those videos, or maybe if I have time, I'll put the links above. So what we see here is we see the square, well, Uranus conjunct Mars is very challenging. Whenever Mars, the warrior planet, is conjunct Uranus, it's like TNT. And then we get the mix of Lilith, which is the black moon Lilith, which is the apogee of the moon. And I'm going to continue to do videos on this because, you know, this doesn't actually happen until January 20th, 2021. So there's plenty of time to continue talking about this. There's plenty of time to continue seeing examples of this energy in play going back into history, looking for examples of this to show you, so that I'm not just giving you my own personal interpretation. I will show you the facts. Like, this factually happened when this energy was in play. So, all right, and then you mix in the moon, which is emotion, subconscious, and the people. This is pretty explosive energy, and it's squaring the nodes. The nodes are at 6 degrees 36 minutes, and this is 6 degrees 44 minutes. So, you know, it's about as conjunct. I mean, it's about as exact a square as you can possibly get. And then we have the Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, Pallas Athena, and Mercury over here. And these, particularly the Sun, Saturn, Jupiter, and the nodes, will be in the square to the Uranus, Mars, Moon, and Black Moon Lilith conjunction. Okay, so again, it's up to you to decide what you think this energy is going to bring. I've just given you the facts and tried to keep my own interpretations out of it. And you know, again, I think that the only way to really deal with this energy is to raise our consciousness. So I'm going to leave it at there for now. And I hope some of you will join me over there on Patreon to do this consciousness raising work. I'm going to do the best I can to give you as much value as I possibly can, because I really, really appreciate the support over there and the community that we're building. All right, so that's it for today. And again, if you need the links, they're below. And I look forward to hearing from some of you. All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.